In the quiet court of King Janaka, where wisdom flowed like a flowing river, Sage Yajnavalkya stood ready to speak deeper truths. The air was full of stillness and expectation. As the questions now reached into the heart of existence, Yajnavalkya spoke calmly in the quiet court. Dear seekers, he said, if you truly want to know yourself, you must look beyond what your eyes can see or what your hands can touch. The Atman, your true self, is not something physical. You can't hear it, see it, taste it, or even fully think about it. It is more subtle than the smallest thing you can imagine. He paused, letting the silence sink in like calm fog over water. The self simply watches everything. It is not affected by what it sees. Whether your body becomes strong or weak, whether your mind is restless or calm, whether life brings joy or pain, the self remains unchanged. It is always whole, always present. Then he gently shared the path to understand the self, not by collecting more things or ideas, but by letting go. Neti neti, Yajnavalkya said, not this, not that. With every step of letting go, you come closer. You are not your body, it gets old and dies. You are not your mind, it dreams, wants, and gets confused. You are not your job, your name, or your memories, because all this change. Remove everything that doesn't last forever, he said softly, and what's left is your true self, pure awareness that doesn't break apart. It doesn't do anything on its own, yet it allows everything else to happen. It never changes, but all change happens around it. He compared it to space. You can't hold space in your hand, yet everything exists inside it. In the same way, the self cannot be held, but everything we experience depends on it. Yajnavalkya's eyes shone with calm power. This is the deepest mystery, he said, not because the self is far away, but because it is so close, always with us, that we miss it. Like your eyes can't see themselves, the self is always here, watching, knowing, simply being. The court sat in deep silence, as if even time had stopped to listen. Then King Janaka asked, Sage, what happens when this life ends? What becomes of the self? Yajnavalkya's voice was steady and calm, carrying the weight of timeless wisdom. Death, he said, is not the end of life, but a crossing, a quiet journey from one side to another. When death comes, the senses begin to pull back. The eyes stop seeing, the ears stop hearing, and the breath becomes still. He paused to let those words settle. But the self, he continued, does not die. It is not touched by death, just as it was never really born. What leaves the body at death is not life, but awareness. The Atman, silently carrying all the thoughts, feelings, and actions a person has lived. He gave an example. Just like a leech doesn't let go of one blade of grass until it grabs another, the self holds on to one form until it connects with the next. The listeners held their breath, fully absorbed. Yajnavalkya explained that the self carries a subtle body, the fine imprint of experiences, knowledge, and unfinished desires. These impressions are called samskaras and they shape the next life just like a seed already holds the future tree inside it. The physical body may die, he said, but the self moves onward, wrapped in memories and momentum. Where it goes next is not decided by rituals or beliefs, but by the inner state of the mind and heart. He made it clear that this cycle called Punarjanma or rebirth is not random. It is guided by deep desires, where a person's thoughts are most focused during life, that is where they tend to go again. It's not fate, it's inner pull that leads the soul. So he said, death should not be feared. It is a doorway. The self passes through it again and again until one day it fully awakens to what it really is, eternal, pure, and free. The air was thick with stillness, as if even the universe had paused to listen. Then Yajnavalkya turned to a deeper truth, the one thing that keeps all beings tied to the endless cycle of life and death. Desire, he said softly, is the thread that connects the self to the world. It is delicate but powerful. As long as there is even one desire, whether for name, pleasure, fame, or things, the self stays caught in samsara, the cycle of being born again and again. He looked at the quiet, thoughtful faces around him. Why does the self keep coming back? He asked. Because it is still searching. It wants, it holds on. But when all desires, both the ones you know and the ones hidden deep inside, are clearly seen and released, the self no longer has any reason to return. He paused briefly, then spoke again with gentle confidence. At that moment of complete letting go, when there is nothing left to want, not even freedom itself, the self merges with Brahman, the infinite and limitless reality that has never been separate, but has always been the self's deepest truth. Janaka leaned in closer. So liberation means it is not about going to another world. Yajnavalkya said, it's not heaven, it's not a prize, it's not running away. Liberation is waking up, realizing that the one who has been searching is already what it was looking for. The self and Brahman are not two things, they are one, always have been. He spoke of the deep peace that comes when the self no longer thinks it is the body, the mind, or the roles it plays in life. In that moment of knowing, he said, there is no more fear, no more becoming, only being, a stillness beyond words. Freedom, Yajnavalkya said at last, is not something outside of us. It comes when we remember who we truly are. Pure, eternal, untouched by time. That is liberation. That is Moksha. The self is the same as Brahman, Yajnavalkya said. When you truly know this, all suffering ends, and what remains is unshakable peace forever.